curse of Blackwood Castle. The ancient castle loomed ahead, its dark stone walls rising up against the night sky like a warning to all who dared to enter. The only sound was the crunch of gravel beneath the feet of the two travelers, who had come to the remote village in search of answers. The villagers had told them of the castle's dark past, of the evil that had once resided there and of the terrible curse that still hung over it. They had begged them not to go, but the two were determined to uncover the truth. As they approached the castle, they could feel the air grow colder and the shadows seemed to stretch out to meet them. The heavy wooden doors creaked open with a groan, as if protesting their intrusion. Inside, the castle was dark and musty, the only light coming from the flickering torches that lined the walls. The travelers made their way through the empty halls, their footsteps echoing off the stone floor. As they turned a corner, they saw a figure standing in the shadows. It was a woman, dressed in a long black gown, her hair cascading down her back in dark waves. She turned to them, her eyes glinting in the dim light. "Welcome to my home," she said in a voice that sent shivers down their spines. "I have been expecting you." The woman led them deeper into the castle, her movements graceful and ethereal. She told them of the castle's history, of the powerful and evil sorcerer who had once lived there and of the curse he had placed on the castle and all who entered it. The travelers listened in horror as she described the terrible fate that awaited those who dared to enter the castle. They knew they had to leave, but it was too late. The curse had already taken hold and they were trapped. The woman smiled, her eyes gleaming with malice. "You are mine now," she said. "Forever." The travelers screamed as they felt their bodies begin to change, twisted and distorted by the sorcerer's curse. They were trapped in the castle, doomed to spend eternity as monsters, forever at the mercy of the woman's twisted desires. As the years passed, the villagers whispered of the terrible fate that had befallen the two travelers, warning others to stay away from the castle and the curse that still hung over it. But there were always those who were curious, who wanted to uncover the truth. And so the cycle continued, as the castle claimed new victims, adding to the ghostly inhabitants that haunted its halls. The castle stood for centuries, a dark and foreboding presence in the village. And though the villagers knew to stay away, the castle continued to call to those who were brave or foolish enough to enter. Some say that the curse is still in effect and that the castle still holds the spirits of those who were lost to its darkness. And that on quiet nights, you can still hear their screams, echoing through the halls of the castle, a constant reminder of the horror that lies within. As the centuries passed, the castle became a place of legend and superstition. Many believed it to be haunted by the spirits of those who had fallen victim to the curse, and it was said that strange and terrifying things happened to those who ventured inside. Despite the warnings, a group of young thrill-seekers decided to explore the castle one night. They laughed and joked as they made their way through the dark and musty halls, but their laughter quickly turned to screams as they were attacked by ghostly apparitions. One by one, the group was picked off, until only one remained. She stumbled through the castle, her mind reeling with terror, until she came upon the woman in the black gown. But this time, the woman's face was twisted with malice, and she lunged at the girl, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly power. The girl barely managed to escape the castle, her mind forever scarred by the horror she had witnessed. She told her tale to the villagers, but they were skeptical, thinking it was nothing more than a wild hallucination. But the girl knew the truth. She knew that the castle was still cursed, and that the spirits of the dead still roamed its halls. And she vowed to never let anyone else fall victim to the curse, warning all who would listen to stay away from the castle and its terrifying inhabitant. Years passed, and the girl grew old, but she never forgot her terrible experience in the castle. And even on her deathbed, she warned her descendants to stay away from the cursed place. But as is the nature of humans, there will always be those who are drawn to the forbidden and the mysterious, and the castle continued to call to the brave or foolish. The castle still stands, a dark and foreboding presence in the village. And though the villagers know to stay away, the castle continues to call to those who are brave or foolish enough to enter. Some say that the curse is still in effect and that the castle still holds the spirits of those who were lost to its darkness. And that on quiet nights, you can still hear their screams, echoing through the halls of the castle, a constant reminder of the horror that lies within. The villagers had learned to live with the castle and its curse, but it remained a constant source of fear and unease. The local priest, Father Michael, had long been skeptical of the castle's supposed curse, but he couldn't deny the strange occurrences that seemed to happen around it. One day, Father Michael received a letter from a wealthy benefactor, offering to fund the restoration of the castle. The benefactor, a man named Mr. Blackwood, claimed to have a personal interest in the castle's history and wanted to open it to the public as a tourist attraction. Father Michael was hesitant, but he saw the opportunity to restore the castle and bring some much-needed money to the village. He met with Mr. Blackwood, and despite some reservations, he agreed to the restoration. The work began, and soon the castle was transformed. Mr. Blackwood had spared no expense, and the castle was now a lavish tourist attraction, complete with guided tours and a gift shop. But as the castle opened to the public, strange things began to happen. Visitors reported feeling uneasy and experiencing strange occurrences, and some even claimed to have seen ghostly apparitions. Father Michael began to investigate, and he soon discovered that Mr. Blackwood was not who he seemed. In fact, he was a descendant of the sorcerer who had placed the curse on the castle all those centuries ago. And he had only restored the castle as a way to draw people in, so that he could use their fear and suffering to fuel his dark magic. With this knowledge, Father Michael knew he had to act fast. He rallied the villagers and together they stormed the castle, confronting Mr. Blackwood and putting a stop to his twisted plans. The curse was lifted, and the spirits of the dead were finally able to rest. The castle was closed to the public and left to crumble, a silent reminder of the evil that had once resided there. But even though the castle was gone, the memory of its curse lived on. The villagers would never forget the horror that had once plagued their home, and they made sure to pass down the tale to future generations, warning them of the dangers of greed and dark magic. The castle may be gone, but the legend of its curse will always remain, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the hearts of men. The end of the story.